Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Ravel. It is so good to be with you today. I have a particular skip in my step today because I am doing a 2-week, 2-part little mini series for you on Mary Poppins. And I am like ridiculously excited. I feel like for me as a kid, Mary Poppins was the first character that I saw that effectively characterized a lot of what a professional organizer is. And I've been sitting on this I want to record a couple of episodes about Mary Poppins for years now. We use Mary Poppins as part of our training material for our business. So there's a whole part of our team manual called the Mary Poppins Spirit and Attributes of a Professional Organizer. And we use Mary Poppins to kind of talk about some of the things we love and are important to us as professional organizers. And what I've been thinking is I want to bring this to you guys. I want you to look at Mary Poppins and kind of tease out some of the characteristics that she has that you can expect to find in a professional organizer, but also that you can display when working either DIY decluttering or whether you're working with family members. So I'm like ridiculously excited. So, Mary Poppins, the story of Mary Poppins was written by Pamela Travers in 1934. So we're talking about like a 90-year-old story that is like so iconic, so iconic. There was a period as a professional organizer when I carried around a kit or a bag that like had all these pockets, and so many of my clients would call it my Mary Poppins bag because it just felt like I could reach in there and find like pretty much anything you would need on a decluttering job. So 1934, then Walt Disney created a film in 1964, which still stands as one of the most successful films of all time, which totally makes sense. Like, who doesn't love Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke? Like, the best together. And I've kind of been reading a little bit about Mary Poppins and, refreshing myself. I just genuinely, I love the old film. I do love the Mary Poppins Returns film as well, which is a little bit more current. But I was reading an interview with Pamela, the author, and she wrote about Mary Poppins. She said that she didn't create Mary Poppins. She says that Mary Poppins simply appeared to her, just like she did on the East Wind in the book. And I love that. It's like this Mary Poppins character was just out there and Pamela just captured her and brought her to us, which I think is kind of cool. Sometimes I feel like that's how artists might describe a painting, is like, I didn't create the painting. I just was... I was treasured with it. Like my job was simply to take what I was given, put it on the easel and bring it to you. So I feel like that's like, it just makes Mary Poppins so much more special when you just think, oh my gosh, she just appeared to the author like on the East Wind. So what I'm going to do is over the course of this week and next week, we're going to go through 8 characteristics of Mary Poppins. And as I said, I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of like, this is what it looks like for myself and my team as professional organizers. This is some things you can be aware of if you're helping somebody else to declutter. These are some characteristics that you might like to display. It also will help you if you're a DIYer. So how to get started, how to have success and maintain that progress that you've got. So I'm really excited. Okay, point number 1, Mary Poppins makes light of heavy work. And I'm also going to hit you with some Mary Poppins quotes. So here we go. So this is a conversation between Mary Poppins and the young boy Michael, who she comes to be the nanny for. So Mary Poppins says, "Our first game is called Well Begun is Half Done." Michael says, "I don't like the sound of that." Mary Poppins says, "Otherwise titled, Let's Tidy Up the Nursery." And Michael says to Jane, "I told you she was tricky." And I love that. Well begun is half done. And it can be exhausting decluttering and organizing. Sometimes the work is heavy physically or emotionally or relationally or mentally. It's normal to find decluttering heavy. I know that because sometimes it's exhausting being a professional organizer. Doing decluttering and organizing as a job can be tiring as well. Sometimes in our job, we have to move heavy items. I've helped so many people move house in like 40-degree plus heat. Sometimes we have to climb flights of stairs 30 times in one session to help move things around a client's house or help move them in or help pack them up. Sometimes, let's be honest, you've got your period and you do not feel like climbing out of bed and going and organizing your garage. But A really good professional organizer makes light of heavy work. So what that doesn't mean is that you avoid the heavy work, because that's not going to get anything done. But it's really important when you're an organizer or when you're organizing for yourself or you're organizing with your kids that you can lighten the environment. It can be dreary. People can kind of drag their feet and come in heavy and go, oh, I can't be bothered. I don't want to do this. But heavy work it genuinely can become light. Like, think about Mary Poppins. Like, she makes light work of tidying up to the point where birds come and land on her when she sings. So, like, just for context, that's how amazing she is at it. And I do think it's really important that if we kind of have these heavy jobs, these things that we can sometimes not look forward to, if we don't shift the environment, every single time it comes to decluttering and organizing, we can feel that heaviness. And so sometimes we need to make a mental shift and be like, actually, this can be fun. Maybe it's putting on your favorite music. Maybe it's putting on a movie in the background while you're sorting paperwork. Maybe it's saying to your kids, like, here's a pack of lollies. Every time we fill a rubbish bag, we get a handful of lollies. Or, come up with ideas and ways that work for you to make light of heavy work, because it really does kind of lift that burden of the decluttering and organizing. Okay, number 2. Mary Poppins characteristics. She has a positive attitude in dreary work. So I'm not going to sing this for you, but I really want to. It's the Mary Poppins singing this. Mary Poppins sings this. She says, just a spoonful of sugar. I really need to sing it. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go. Anyway, and then she goes on. The spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. I promise I won't sing again. That was not great. And so, like, she is saying the medicine is, like, if we think medicine's a bit dreary and the sugar is like that positive attitude, because the attitude that as professional organizers we bring to every single session rubs off onto our clients. It's like, we love it when we turn up to a client's house and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited. I'm all ready, da 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 da. Often we turn up and people are like, oh, okay, all right, we better do this. And it's normal to have dreary days, whether it's in your work or whether it's just in maintaining your home or motivating your kids or working with your partner. But if you can bring a positive attitude to the job of decluttering, it makes a really big difference in how you feel about it, not only looking forward to it, but in it and then reflecting upon it. I often say to my team that you are hope bringers, that people call us when they're feeling that overwhelm and discouragement. So our job is to bring hope and encouragement, as well as obviously all that practical hands-on tips and tricks and advice and hacks and all of that type of thing. But that positive attitude makes a really big difference, and being a hope bringer makes a huge difference as well. Okay, I'm going to share 2 more with you. We're going to go to a super quick ad break because I really want to come back and share the next 2, so points 3 and 4 of the 8, and I know you're going to love them. Back in just a second. Okay, number 3 is Mary Poppins does the right thing. This is a Mary Poppins quote. She says, "That's a pie crust promise, easily made, easily broken." And I think doing the right thing when you are decluttering and organizing can look like a bajillion different things. With my team, I talk about when you're doing the right thing, it means we speak truth when a client's open to it. It means that even when we're tired, when a client's kind of going, oh, I'm dragging my feet, I'm exhausted, I can't be bothered, you still don't take shortcuts. You don't ignore a pile or a box. You kind of dig deep in yourself, and where others might be lacking motivation, you actually bring that motivation on behalf of whoever you're working with. And you can do that if it's your kids. You can do that sometimes for yourself. Is you go, okay, I am tired, but I'm going to do the right thing. I'm actually going to do this properly. I'm going to finish the job properly because I know that my future self will be so grateful that I did it. And when you're the client, or whether you're decluttering on your own or when you're decluttering with someone else that you're helping, being honest about what you're letting go of and why you're letting go of it, and going, you know what, I'm actually not going to use that again. Or the reason I don't want to get rid of that thing is I'm afraid I might not be able to find another one, or it reminds me of this. Like, the honesty and doing the right thing in that can be really important. And as a professional organizer, so this is like a little PSA to all the professional organizers and declutter coaches that listen to this podcast. Doing the right thing means that you don't hide things from a client, like sneaking things into the rubbish or sneaking things into donation without their permission. That's not cool, okay? Your client is always the one that gets to make the decisions. So we respect people. We respect all clients. We respect the vulnerable. We respect anyone that we work with and our colleagues, because if you are the parent that wants to sneak all the kids' stuff out while they're not there and then not be truthful about it, sometimes it can come back and bite you, because then they don't never want to get rid of anything ever again. So doing the right thing, be like Mary Poppins. Number 4 is Mary Poppins is comfortable being herself. When I watch back over Mary Poppins, and I have watched back over it that many times, it's not funny, I just fall in love with her. She's inspiring, but she's also uniquely herself. Like, she's quite brash, terse, but she calls herself practically perfect. Like, that's pretty self-righteous. So she's not perfect, although she would say she is. She's absolutely herself. And so it's really important that you feel free to be yourself when it comes to decluttering and organizing. You do not have to be like some YouTuber that you follow. You don't have to be like some Instagram account that you follow. You don't need to be a clone of someone else. I don't expect my clones. There you go. That was a great faux pas. I don't expect my team to be clones of me or each other or other organizers. And I think it's really important that you feel comfortable with the amount of stuff that you have, with the decisions that you're making, with how you want to live in your home. You don't need to be someone else. You don't need to pretend to be someone else. Like, I don't want my clients, when I'm working with them, to feel like they can't say, no, I really do want to keep all those pairs of shoes. Or I don't want to keep anything other than these 2 pairs of shoes. Like, I want people to be free to advocate for themselves, to be themselves, to feel valued. One of the things that I think is really important with that is comfortable being herself, Mary Poppins' little idea, is when you know who you are, you're more likely to know what your boundaries are. And so I think it's really important in an industry like ours is that we know when we've reached the limit of what we can do. So sometimes it's really important as professional organisers to refer outside of our industry, maybe an occupational therapist or a psychologist or cleaners or trauma cleaners or social workers, to be able to go, actually, I can see that there's additional support that you might need that I can't provide you, or it's not my role to provide you. But then, do you know what? One of the things I love about our industry is we're pretty good also at knowing when, yes, I could help you, but I know someone who could help you better. And so the art of decluttering, like that, when it comes to photo organizing, we refer that out. We're not photo organizing specialists. We don't try to be, but I know some amazing photo organizers. And so I would much prefer to be able to go, hey, I can see what you're after, and the better fit is this. Because when we're comfortable being ourselves, then we are more comfortable to give people actually the best of ourselves, and also know when to go, there's somebody else that I think I can hand you to, can, look after this component or this part. And really, you're the one that has to live in your home. You're the one that has to maintain the spaces that you organize. So when you're going at DIY, or when you've got a professional organizer, sometimes spending a little bit of time going like, what's my vision? Who do I want to be in my home? Who do my family want to be in my home? And what do I want it to look like? Because being confident and comfortable in yourself is really important. So I'm going to go back over those 4 and just remind you what they are. Mary Poppins makes light of heavy work. The quote was, well begun is half done. Second one was, a positive attitude in dreary work. I will not sing, but a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Mary Poppins does the right thing. A pie crust promise is easily made and easily broken. And she's comfortable being herself. She's practically perfect in every way. So take these little Mary Poppins snippets. Maybe I inspired you to go back and watch the movie, but have a think about how you can integrate these into your decluttering and organizing journey, whether you're a professional organizer, doing it DIY, helping somebody else. And guys, please come back next week for the next 4. They're incredible, because Mary Poppins, as always, is delivering the goods. So take on that, have a look in the show notes. I've got some links to some episodes, and I'm going to see you same place, same time next week. And until then, enjoy the freedom. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of the land this podcast is recorded on. I would also like to pay respects to their elders, both past and present, of the Kulin Nation, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love you to rate and review the show on your podcast app. That will help others to find the Art of Decluttering podcast as well. If you'd like any more information, you can visit theartofdecluttering.com.au, and I would love to see you in my Facebook group. Just search the Art of Decluttering community on Facebook and join today. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day and enjoy the freedom.